In case you didn't know, your progress doesn't have to be seen. It doesn't have to be congratulated in order to be validated. You know what you're doing behind the scenes. You know the sacrifices that you're making to make your craft, develop skills enhance. You know what you're doing when no one else is with you shooting in the gym. Welcome to day 15 of dropping motivational gems that can inspire you. I'm going for the long run. Day 15 out of 60. Let's jump right into this video. Stop waiting for people's approval before you decide to do something. A round of applause after you've done something. If you're putting your why on someone else, if you're putting your why on outside circumstances, everything other than what's going on in here, then you can only get so far. Most people that seek outside validation, they usually end up crashing out because eventually that validation is going to stop. And even if it doesn't, it can get to your head and cause you to become arrogant, cause you to lose sense with the why you even started, cause you to lose sense with the goal, with the main goal. I've seen people, and I know that you guys seen celebrities, or someone who, they were on their path and they actually made something of themselves. But that validation that they were seeking, either one, it was never enough. So they just kept doing more gimmicky things. They just kept up with the lies. They just kept up living a facade. They eventually crashed out. Or two, that validation just kept eating them to the point where they got so big-headed, they got so arrogant that you didn't even want to be around that type of person anymore. You didn't even want to surround yourself. You didn't even want to be around that energy because that energy came with a lot of, fakeness. It came with a lot of people pleasing. And the truth is, just because no one is clapping for you, it doesn't mean you're not winning. It doesn't mean that you're not putting in the work. It doesn't mean that you're not studying the craft. It just means keep your head down, keep applying pressure, keep stacking the chips in your favor, and whatever happens will happen. Whatever is meant to happen will happen. That's the unwavering faith that you must have while you're working behind the scenes, while you're in the gym when the lights are out. And growth is hard because it comes with no sound. When you're on your journey towards growth, you become a little bit more isolated. You start being more aware of the nonsense that you can't put yourself around anymore. You start realizing the friends that are detrimental to your mental health and your well-being. You start realizing that getting drunk, smoking weed every day is not a good day. Just getting high, eating pizza, and charging that as if like it was a good day. You realize that that's my worst day, and that should be your worst day because those are days when you're less productive. Those are days where you're allowing time to pass you by. Those are days where your competitors are getting ahead. I was that individual who used to seek some type of validation in order for my work, to be validated, in order for people to know that, yo, he's putting in the work. I like that. And I realized the more I was feeding into that was the more that I really wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. Because when I didn't get that feedback, when I didn't get that validation, I would work a little bit less. I wouldn't put 100% in because no one was noticing. And the epiphany that I had is that when we're doing things for everybody else, when we're doing things for reasons that are outside of us, we're limited. We're limiting our fullest capacity because we're not operating in an energy that's pure. We're not operating in an energy that's authentic to our core. And in life, if you're willing to go the long run, if you're willing to play the game of longevity, then you have to keep your values at bay. You have to keep the core essence of why you're doing what you're doing at your heart, in your heart, so that way you never lose track of where you're going. You never lose track of the person that you are. You never lose track of the person that you're trying to be. So yeah, as hard as growth is, there are some truth behind it. I'm going to share with you guys 3 truths about growth. Number 1, invisible work creates visible success. Don't let that go over your head. The work that you're doing behind the scenes eventually is going to pay off and you're going to have that visible success. It's only a matter of time. You're sacrificing, you're studying, eventually you will end up being that doctor. You'll end up being that lawyer. You're sacrificing, you're studying to build your business. Eventually you will be that business owner. Eventually people will take notice, but that shouldn't be your why. It's just a matter of law, universal principles. You reap what you sow. You keep putting your head down, you keep planting the seeds, you keep moving, you keep applying pressure. Things are going to grow in your favor because of the sacrifices that you are making, because of that determination that you keep putting out there. Rule number 2, silence your need for applause. If you keep working for other people's validation, I promise you, you're going to limit yourself. You won't truly be great because if that validation isn't coming the way you want it, you'll stop working. And if that validation is coming the way it is, it will lead you down a path where you're losing yourself, where you're losing your why, where you're changing yourself. And while you truly will be labeled, he changed up. And you didn't change, and you won't change for the better, because your why is in actuality a vice. A vice that is just, you're feeding the wrong energy out there. You're putting the wrong energy. So limit your need for applauses and focus on just grinding it out. Focus on just being better day by day. Number 3, validation is a bonus, but it's not a necessity. You don't need someone's validation to get started. You don't need someone's, co-signing to continue doing what you have to do. Rely on your grit, rely on your determination, rely on your discipline to see things through, and watch the amount of doors that you start opening yourself. Watch how you don't lose track of yourself. Watch how you're able to truly influence your loved ones, your friends, your family, because they see that the energy that you're working, the energy that you're saying no behind, is not because of arrogance. It's not because you think you're better than them. It's not because you think you're too cool. It's truly because you are on a path that requires growth. You are on a path that requires sacrifice. You are on a path that requires you to change who you are in order to become the person that you know you could be, the person that you know you're deserving of becoming. So if you watch this video, let me know what you guys think, man. As hard as growth is, don't let that be the reason why you never start. As hard as growth is, don't let that be the reason why you give up. It's your boy DP Motivation. We out, baby. We out.